Good morning, it's Friday, it's just after 10. I'm Victoria Derbyshire, welcome to our programme. In exclusive interviews on this programme, two more former footballers have told us about the abuse they say they suffered in the 1980s and 90s by youth coach Barry Bennell. They've spoken out following our exclusive interview with Andy Woodward.
Last week I was on here, I was on my own, and I was so scared, but I knew that they were here. Honest to God, Victoria, I can't thank the public enough, and the media, and more importantly the lads for backing me up, you know. I'm just totally overwhelmed.
Chris Unsworth told us he'd never spoken to anyone about the sexual abuse he'd suffered until he saw Andy's interview on our programme last week.
I sat at home and thought about this, and I thought, I've got to come forward. Got to come forward and help everybody.
You had never told a soul?
No. Never told anyone. Kept it locked away right in the back of my head.
All four of the men we spoke to this morning say they were abused by Barry Bennell, a former youth coach at Manchester City and Crewe Alexandra in the 80s and 90s, and that they fear there could be many more victims. Is this as big as Savile?
I think Savile looks like a choir boy compared to this fella and what's going on right now.
Email from John, who was watching the interview with the four gentlemen a little earlier. He says we need to hear from the football clubs. How do they police their youth organisations now? What sort of checks and rules apply? Obviously, as you'd expect, we have bid for interviews with representatives of Crewe Alexandra and Manchester City, and they've said no. Email from Orla, absolutely heartbroken and in tears watching these guys. A friend of mine was abused as a young footballer in Wrexham and has never told a soul. He told me one night when he was very drunk and immediately regretted it and tried to deny it had ever happened. I hope now, watching these guys, that he will have the courage to tell someone what happened when he was a little boy trying to follow his dream, and then he can start healing. God bless you guys. And Yasmin says, hearing the footballers reminded me of the days I used to prosecute abusers. I've been saying in Parliament and to the police many times that there is a lot of abuse, particularly of young boys, and we need to protect our young children. So many messages. We're absolutely overwhelmed with them, and we're going to read them all, and we really appreciate them, and the four men will see them all. Do get in touch with us. Use the hashtag Victoria Live, and if you're texting, you'll be charged at the standard network rate.